is Yoder's clone from Boise State is going to be the pick for the Bears in the first round. In fact, Jeanty is now the betting favorite to land in Chicago. I have a theory about this, but I'll let you go first. Now, Ben Johnson is the new coach. We know when he was in Detroit, they added Gibbs with the 12th overall pick to join Montgomery. Little thunder and lightning action. It worked. Do you buy Jeanty to the Bears?
Well, I think I'll tell you what a general manager told me last week. When it comes to the first round, especially in a draft that's not great, just take the best player. So I don't think they're saying Jeanty. I think what the Bears are saying at this point is, who's the best player available? I don't think you can get picky. I mean, there are 12 guys in this draft. That's what GMs are telling me. 12, maybe 13 players in this draft that are first-round players. The average is about 17. Most years we're at 12. So I think you just take the best player available. Now, I do think there's going to be a player drafted after the 15th, that linebacker at Alabama. I think he's going to end up being a really good player. But by and large, I think you just take what's there.
So my theory is the Bears are floating this because they know Jeanty's a hot commodity for Dallas, for Denver, several teams.
Oh, and they want somebody to move up.
Trade back. But they say, hey, everybody, we're taking Jeanty. If you want him, you got to move up to our spot. And I think the Bears would love to get a couple more picks. You've said this many times. It's a monster running back.
Well, listen, I think Genty's the best back, but I think the kid at Carolina,
he's amazing.
He's also
90% of Jeanty.
Yes.
Maybe more, maybe 95.
So I can get him and another third-round pick. Yeah, I'll do it.
And you got DeAndre Swift in the backfield already. Roshan Johnson, like they have okay backs. I don't think they need Jeanty there, Colin.
I agree with you. That's a good take. Bears want it floated. Bears want another pick.
I'm trying to match your level of hot, fiery takes here on a hump day.
Okay. I try to just have regular takes. Try not to bring anything too hot. You know, stories like this are always so tough, honestly. I think the draft this year, more than I can really remember it recently, is a massive mess. I mean, for the most part, we're confident, just at the very least, like where quarterbacks are going to be drafted, or at least the order that they're going to be drafted. We have a good feel. Obviously, there can be some surprises, but we have a decent feel. We don't even have that this year, quite frankly. And there's just going to be such a domino effect. Then you have Colin reporting that, like, you know, GMs are saying that there's really not enough good players there. And so it's just, to me, it's just so unpredictable. And I still am trying to find ways through this. And I keep kind of expressing it out loud because I keep hoping someone will say something in the comment section that will, make sense. But I just can't in good faith make a whole video of why I think, you know, Ashton Jeanty would be great for the Chicago Bears and this is going to be so good and this and that, and then only to just have them either not draft him or he's just drafted before they even get the opportunity. And then you're just like, okay, or they are trying to play games and they want picks and, you know, whatever it is. And it's just like, you know, trying not to partake in that. I think Jeanty is you know, has potential to be awesome in the NFL. I think there is also legitimate questions as well. I don't know if it's just like an automatic 100% foregone conclusion, but I don't necessarily feel strongly either way. I would say that game against Penn State was definitely like kind of like, this is what happens when you face a significantly better team. Like, things just don't look quite the same. But I still do see him as a workhorse, quite frankly. And I disagree, though, with what J-Mac is saying, though, about the Bears and DeAndre Swift. And it's like, well, the Eagles had Swift. And people said, oh, they already have Swift. Like, why do they need Saquon? You tell me. You tell me. Who was the difference maker? Yeah, I think we have that answer. So, you know, running backs are back in business. You know, get the O-line going, get that run game going, and make everything significantly easier for Caleb. And when you make everything significantly easier for Caleb, that allows him then to start to use his own brand of special, have him be able to make his put his mark on the game. And quite frankly, that starts by just stabilizing the offense, and you're going to stabilize the offense by protecting him and just getting the run go. That alone will just open everything up for Ben Johnson and Caleb. I talked a lot about the defense and making it easier for him in that way, but quite frankly, I don't even think that that's as necessary for some teams, and depending on where they're actually at in this moment in time, and what their roster is, etc., etc., that can definitely be the play as well. But considering what we need, what we are expecting and what we want to see out of Caleb, it's like, let's make that offense just be as smooth as possible. And when you can just get other playmakers that really are completely just on their own in terms of their ability to create and be special, and not rely on also the extension of a Caleb Williams, there you go. That again, that also now just gives Ben Johnson more to work with as well. So it's so interesting when you look at a coach like a Ben Johnson and a quarterback like a Caleb Williams, where in a lot of ways, when you're adding certain pieces, and again, whether it's through the O-line, whether it's through like actual concrete playmakers, weapons, you're giving both your great coach and who we believe will be a great quarterback more tools to work with. And it's a fascinating synergy, because you give more tools to Caleb. Now Caleb has more to work with, which then causes Ben Johnson to have more tools, gives him more to work with. And if you give Ben Johnson more to work with, that now helps him give more tools and more to work with for Caleb. Like it is this like, fascinating feedback loop. So to me, it's just, again, once you got that O-line locked in place, the rest is just like, what other tools in the toolbox do we need to kind of create and give to both Caleb and Ben Johnson? Is it someone like an Ashton Jeanty? Like I don't know. I really don't. I think obviously Ben Johnson got a front row seat and has a lot of experience dealing with great backs and different style backs as well. So you can imagine that's going to be the case, and that's why I'm not really willing to be like, oh, this is just a front for the Bears or this or that. They're going to be happy with Swift, and like I'm not so sure. But again, I'm also just not trying to predict exactly how this is going to go, because maybe they really do want a big running back, but then, Jeanty goes before they even get to the Bears. Like, so, draft predictions are messy. They really are. It's a little bit more straightforward when you're talking about quarterbacks, who obviously needs a quarterback, where we think the quarterback order is going to go. Again, of course, there can be a couple wild cards that kind of just hit, that throw everyone for the loop. But to me right now, this is such a mess of a draft that it just feels the ability to accurately predict where these guys are going to go. It just feels too far off to me, which then just makes it kind of a lot more complicated to really get to the truth of it, and try to figure out where they're where a team is going to go, where they can go within the draft. So but I do think right now the Chicago Bears, they have their options, and they're in a position of power, in the sense of there's multiple moves for them to be able to make that cause them to grow and be a significantly better team, because of the foundation that they've already set up in free agency and what I think they already have. Again, I think this team is actually already significantly better than people already understand. And when you're now working from a place of, you're no longer making decisions from a place of desperation, you can just make better decisions, right? If you still had a bad O-line, or you still didn't have a great coach, then you would maybe need to reach in the draft. Maybe you would start to do things that would, again, would be gambles, or would, potentially just make you even weaker at that point. You're just kind of moving backwards. I don't see that with the case with the Bears. So I see the panic over, quite frankly. This team, from my viewpoint, even if they made no other choices, even with the O-line, as much as that O-line wasn't good, just by adding Ben Johnson alone, you are a giant step forward better. Not to mention, you also kind of pulled a LeBron James where you got better as a team, and you now hurt another team, a huge team in your own division, in your own conference, aka the Detroit Lions. So, even if you just took one step closer to the Lions now also took a step backwards, which now puts you even further up. So, it's the Bears are significantly better than people think they are. So to me, it's just really, where else do they want to drill down on? And yeah, they're definitely one of the few handful of teams that I'm just like locked in to see like what decisions are they going to make. And yeah, I'm just gonna try to stay away from predictions, quite frankly. Just like all of these conversations again, I just think they get muddled. And when you're fighting for content, and there's only so many stories out there, and there's whispers over here, rumors over there, leaks over there, things just get messier and messier. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Chicago Bears? What moves do you think they'll make in the draft? Do you think that they actually do want Ashton, or do you think that this is a play to get more picks? Do you think they should be happy with DeAndre Swift? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.